Hi guys, today I want to talk about stress, especially nowadays with this COVID-19, the pandemic, people losing jobs, unemployment, people are just financially worried about their life and their jobs. I was reading this book about how to deal with stress. So right now, this is really applicable to everybody. During this money problem, stress is so high up there, number one. So what they suggested is, if you have a problem, like let's say money, you lost a job, the first thing you do is you write it down. You write down your problem and write down the possible solution that you can work on. So instead of just sitting there and just crying or being depressed, you think about, okay, this is the solution I gotta do, this is what I have to work on. And then don't think about how you got there, how this happened, how you could have avoided it. Think about how to solve it. Don't look back. Just think about the future. If you made a bad investment, lost jobs, debt in credit card, think about how you're gonna pay it, where you're gonna get the money. If you did a bad investment, you can just change it. You'll learn from your mistake. And thinking about it, what you did, what could and what I could, it's not going to change anything. He said to take action, like what I said. If you have a problem, write it down, find a solution, and from the bottom, work your way up until you solve your problem. And if you lost your job, start looking for a job, online. Ask your friends. Networking is so important. There's a lot of online jobs right now, teaching online. If it's a credit card, first thing you should do is get rid of the credit card. Credit card is only for emergencies. Nowadays, yeah, it's a good good thing to use the credit card, but make sure you can afford to pay it. If you're not able to afford to pay it, I suggest not to use the credit card. Credit card is evil. It's evil. It just sucks life out of you. If you get into a debt, it's so hard to get out of it. Nowadays, tapping your assets. So in a certain order, first of all, you're supposed to have an emergency fund. Emergency fund, that's the first thing you're going to use. And when that run out, you go to your brokerage account. If you have a brokerage account. If you don't have a brokerage account, go to your Roth if you have Roth. Now, a lot of people have this. I'm just talking to people who invested on different kinds of assets. Roth, they have brokerage account, they have an emergency fund, but not a lot of people has this. And then nowadays with the CARE Act, people thinking, oh, I'm gonna take out my money from my 401k. That's the last thing you're gonna do. That's for your retirement. Unless you're really desperate, that's for your retirement. Don't touch it. Even if you don't have penalties and taxes are payable in 3 years, you still owe that. You still have to pay that. And if you don't have a job, how are you going to pay back? And also, for the Roth, that's tax free. If you have a Roth account, those money are tax free. On the brokerage account, if you're on the low tax bracket, the capital gains are really low. And if you're retired right now, if you're under 12% or 15% tax bracket, capital gains are free. So even if you sell your stocks on your brokerage, there's no penalty. You don't have to pay any taxes out of it. And another thing, if you decide to take out money, make sure you take out just enough. Don't, some people, they'll take out everything. And if you take out everything, you're going to end up spending all that money. And then later on, you're going to be like, oh my God, where else do I go? That's all I got. And the last resort is your 401k. We already talked about that. And then credit card. Credit card, for me, that's the last thing. That's the last thing you can use if you're really desperate. And next thing you should do, if you, after all this pandemic, if you don't have a budget, start making a budget. Write everything down, how much you spend every month, how much your expenses every month. And after this pandemic, you recover, you stay within that budget and start saving for your emergency fund. And the next pandemic or crisis happen, you'll be ready. Another thing you can do is seek support. Talk to friends, talk to your bank, talk to your credit card company, talk to your car insurance. Nowadays they allow you not to pay interest or payment for a couple months. Student loans, you don't have to pay until September. You just have to talk to these people. It's the law. They're supposed to help you out. And then another one they mention is don't compare your life. Right now everything is so bad. Don't compare your life with others. You say, oh, they got better life than me. Don't concentrate on somebody's life. Concentrate on your life right now, how you can make it better and get out of this pandemic and start. If you fall, you get up and just start over. Especially if you're still young. But if you're retired, it's gonna be tough. But like what I mentioned before you reach retirement, you gotta be ready. You gotta have good plan in case crisis happen like this. What else can I tell you? Also with the stock market, again, people are just selling. They're selling like crazy. Just rebalance your account. Just stick with your asset allocation, the percentage that you want to invest on stocks. Those percentages that are invested on stocks, just leave it the way it is. If you're investing 40-50% stock, just leave it there. And if you want, you can rebalance it. If you're if you lost some stocks, especially now, we already recovered. Whatever we lost in February, March, it's already back. So put away some, either buy more stocks or put some of your bond to the stocks, so you'll be on your asset allocation percentage again. I think that's all I can tell you about this. I know it's stressful out there. If you're prepared for emergency, it will be less stressful. So hopefully this helps you and prepare for the next coming crisis. And if you have any question, just send me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, the more I learn and know what kind of topics and video that you guys want to hear, it's better for me, so I can make videos and keep posting it. And hopefully what I'm trying to do is help out people to prepare for their retirement with their finances. I'm not an expert, but with all the things that I learned from the past, it really helped me a lot. So God bless. Be safe out there, and see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Ding!